Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories. The first story is titled, Boss Didn't Want to Approve a Short Leave, so instead I availed a long one. I work with a large organization having multiple branches in every state across the country. I am the head of one such branch. My boss, the regional manager, controls around 15 such branches in a region cluster. During August this year, I had asked my boss for a 5-day leave for September, which he had promptly granted. I then informed HR about it, suggesting him to temporarily arrange for somebody to run my branch for the week. This was required because, 1, due to some corporate directives, some of the branches, including mine, could not run without a branch head being physically present in the office. 2, enabling someone from inside the branch to substitute for me wasn't possible due to technicalities. HR assured me there was plenty of time to arrange for my temporary substitute. So, I didn't think much about it, since anyway it was his job to take care of in case of leaves. My dumb ass didn't imagine it would be crucial to get the leave approved formally / in writing, because before this, nobody had ever faced something like what I was about to experience. Come the last working day before I go on my leave, I asked our HR about who would take care of my branch in my absence. He flatly stated that there was no one available in the region cluster who he could depute to my branch in my stead, as many employees in our region are on leave because of festivities this week. Me. You're telling me this now? Anyway, I fail to understand how that is my problem, given that my leave was already granted a month ago. HR. Have a discussion with the RM, my boss. I called him up. Apparently, the HR had already had a talk with him regarding this matter before I even called him. RM. How could you intend to go on a leave during this time when we're already under so much pressure due to this sudden staff shortage? On top of that, our company's audit is due next month. Me. But you had already approved my leave 1 month ago. RM. No, I'm sure I must have said that I would think about it. Me. Absolutely not. I wouldn't have booked my tickets and planned my travel to my hometown to see my parents if you hadn't confirmed the leave. This went to and fro a while, and I was exasperated from this argument. By the end, I felt really humiliated that I had to almost beg for a leave. Me. Fine, I won't go. At this point, I arguably felt my dignity was more important than a few days off work. RM. Huh? Okay. He was at a loss of words at my sudden giving up. So, my leave stood cancelled. My tickets had to be cancelled. Money wasted. And I was left utterly exhausted of this bullcrap. A few days later, we got a notification for the yearly interstate staff soccer tournament being arranged by corporate. If selected, I'd be playing for my state. And the tournament, from selections till the final, would go on for a month. Soccer happens to be one of my favorite sports. So, guess who just applied and got selected in the state team? Now, here's the funny thing about sports and activities that are arranged by our company's corporate center. The top management takes these seasonal events very seriously. If you're a participating employee, nothing or nobody on this planet could make you rather go back to sit on your chair and mind your job instead of participating. So, as it appeared, although not on a leave per se, but I was all set to go on a month-long tour across the country playing soccer without having to worry about managing a branch and getting paid in the process. Even irrespective of my leave fiasco, this was a damn good thing to get involved in. As some of you have expressed a curiosity, yes, extravagant events like these are not unheard of in big / Fortune 500 companies. My organization is a large conglomerate and the third largest employer in our country. Still, it always beats my logic that they can spare some 150 to 200 employees for a month for fun, yet there are some regions that are plagued with staff scarcity. My boss's office was eventually informed about my participation in the event and was advised to excuse the participant from his duties till the tournament was over. The day before leaving, I drove down to the RM's office to formally inform him, from my end, about my competing in the event and my ensuing month-long absence that is to be expected. He looked expressionless and just feebly asked me, "Why did you really participate?" Me. Well, you see, had I happened to be at my hometown on a short leave this week, I wouldn't have been able to participate in the tournament at all, or even try for the selections. Sad I couldn't go on that leave. The defeated look on his face was priceless. The next story is titled, Neighbors Constantly Trespass and Steal on My Property. Report me to HOA for installing electric fence. It all started when I was a young and carefree single professional, working hard and enjoying the fruits of my labor. However, my life took a dramatic turn when I landed a fantastic job and moved into a seemingly perfect gated community. Little did I know that the neighborhood was governed by an HOA, Homeowners Association. I was unaware of the strict rules and regulations, fines for violating community rules, and even instances of corruption that came with living in an HOA neighborhood. One day, I adopted a friendly boxer from the animal shelter who quickly became my constant companion. We would go on walks and play in the park, but one day I forgot to bring him inside before going to work. I received a notification that he was wandering down the street and quickly headed over to check on him. To my horror, I found that my front gate was open, my mailbox was empty, and my beloved light brown rocking chair was missing. I was determined to find out who was responsible for the theft and bring them to justice. My neighbor informed me that she had seen a suspicious family moving a white rocking chair into their house, so I placed a security camera on my porch and started leaving tempting items outside my front door. And it worked! I was able to capture the family on video, stealing my belongings. I approached my neighbors and shared my findings with them. Together, we began gathering evidence against the corrupt family and the HOA. We were determined to follow all the rules and regulations so they wouldn't suspect a thing. And finally, the day of reckoning arrived. We called a neighborhood meeting and presented our evidence to the HOA board. To our surprise, the HOA president was involved in the corrupt scheme and was caught red-handed. The family was banned from the neighborhood and the HOA board was disbanded. This experience was a turning point in my life. It taught me the importance of doing thorough research and being aware of the challenges that come with living in an HOA neighborhood. It also taught me the power of persistence and teamwork. I learned that standing up for what is right and speaking out against injustice is a powerful thing. The journey was not easy, but it was worth it. Years passed, and I eventually got married, had children, and started my own business. But that experience remained a pivotal moment in my life and one that I would never forget. It taught me that even in the face of adversity, with determination and unity, we can achieve great things. The next story is titled, Entitled Airline Passenger Tried Helping Themselves to My Upgraded Seat. I used to fly for work a lot. I have so many entitled people stories, it stopped surprising me to run into the behavior. This is one such story. Cast. Me, myself, and I equals me. EP equals entitled person. FA equals flight attendant. Being someone that used to fly a lot, I constantly was upgraded to business class, first class, or simply just upgraded seats using miles. Since this was a connection for me, I arrived and boarded later than most of the plane. As soon as I walked into the plane, I saw someone was sitting in my seat since I had been upgraded. Now, if you fly enough, someone sitting in your seat is not an uncommon occurrence. Me. Excuse me, I believe you're in my seat. EP. Does not even bother looking up at me, waves his hand dismissively at me and said, let's just switch seats so I can sit beside my wife. Me. Sure. What is your seat? EP. Snickerdoodle. Now, I don't remember exactly what seat number he said, but it was the last row of the airplane. Aisle seat. Right by the bathroom. Yes, I have had to fly in those seats in the past. Remember, my assigned seat was in the first class/business class section. Now, I have switched seats with people innumerable times in my life without a second thought. Even first class seats. The look of someone getting to unexpectedly ride first class is priceless. But the way this guy was behaving and what he was expecting, this was not one of those times. Me. No. I'm just gonna sit in my assigned seat. Now, he finally looked at me. EP. Well, I want to sit by my wife, so I'm not moving. Me. Well, if you want to sit by your wife, I'm sure whomever is sitting way back there would be more than happy to switch seats way up here so you can sit back there with your wife. He didn't like that at all, for what could he really say at that point without sounding like a jerk? He just stared at me. Me, now annoyed. Move. EP. I am not moving. Ding. Darn right I pushed the call button. FA. Yes, sir, how may I help? I hand her my ticket and say that he's sitting in my seat. She asks for his ticket, checks both tickets, sees his seat number, and, in my mind at least, gave him a look of, seriously? FA. Sir, you need to sit in your assigned seat. EP. I want to sit beside my wife. Well, I wasn't missing a beat and parroted my original statement about me being sure whomever was sitting back there beside him would be more than happy to switch seats and sit up here. Boy, oh boy, that obviously made him angry. FA looks at EP's wife and says, Ma'am, would you like to switch seats so you can sit by your husband? EP's wife. No. FA continues in that all too familiar flight attendant voice that lets you know you have no choice. Well, sir, you have to sit in your assigned seat, so please gather your things. What a sad and pathetic sight it was seeing this grown man act like a baby, gather his things, and then sulk towards the back of the plane. Yes, his wife sat beside me that flight and didn't join her husband in the back of the plane. No, we didn't talk to or look at each other even once, which was perfectly fine with me. Imagine dismissively expecting someone to give up their first class/business class seat to sit in the very last row of the airplane by the bathroom. The next story is titled, EM tries to force me to leave the park because she is convinced my little sister is actually my daughter. There's a 10.5-year age gap between me and my little sister. When I was a teen, I often used to take her to the local park to give my mom a break or give her time to get some housework done, etc. At the time this story happened, I was 15. It was Wimbledon season, so my mom asked me to take my sister to the park for a few hours so she could watch it in peace. She gave me some money so we could get some fish and chips in town and some ice cream at the park. There was usually an ice cream van there. So we got some fish and chips, went to the beach for a bit to buy mom extra time, and then we headed to the park. As we approached the park gate, this EM who was dragging along her child glared at me. EM, you should be ashamed. I look around, but there was nobody else she could have been talking to. Dumbfounded, I blankly pointed to myself, as if to affirm she was talking to me. EM, girls these days are such sluts, opening their legs to anyone who asks. Who got you knocked up? Or let me guess, you don't know? I stared blankly at her for a minute. Me. This is my little sister. EM rolled her eyes and leered at me. EM. Yeah, we had little sisters in my day, too. I just said, okay, bye, and walked away because I was uncomfortable with conflict and just wanted out of that situation. EM. Don't you dare go into the park. You'll spread your filthy diseases all over the park. I don't want my son catching your diseases. I ignored her and rushed into the park. Surely she'd leave me alone when I was surrounded by other kids and parents, right? Wrong. EM followed me around the park, demanding that I leave. The more I ignored her, the madder she got, and she kept repeating over and over, get out, you're not allowed here. At this point, a few parents noticed. One mom, let's call her FM, friend mom, who my mom and I often chatted with, immediately stood and rushed over just as EM grabbed my arm and yanked at me. FM. Why are you grabbing a child? Let her go. Who are you? EM. Mind your ducking business. FM. Let her go or I'm calling the police. EM let me go, but turned her anger towards FM, shouting that she was just making the park safe for her child, and I shouldn't be here because I might spread some nasty disease all over the place. She never specified what disease. I'm guessing she meant an STI or something? More parents started coming over to see what was going on. Seeing she was outnumbered, EM eventually left, dragging her child behind her, screaming obscenities at us as she slinked away. FM gave us a lift home to make sure we were safe. When I told my mom what happened, she was furious. She packed us into the car and drove us around town to look for the woman, but we didn't spot her. Thankfully, I never saw the woman again. The last story is titled, Mother Refused Free Drink at Amusement Park for Nothing. Short. This happened yesterday at our local amusement park. I was going to get a refill on our drink cups when a Karen came waving a receipt. Both the refill station guy and I looked puzzled, so I let her go in front of me. I had a feeling this was going to get nuts, and I wanted a front row seat. DG is drink guy. K. Karen. K. I'm here to get my free refill. As you can see, I bought a cup. DG. That's fine. Where's your cup? K. I lost it, but I have the receipt right here, so give me a new cup. DG. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we're not responsible if you lose your cup. I can give you a small soda, but I can't give you a new cup. K. A small soda? This is BS. I paid for a reusable cup, and I demand a new one. At this point, I see a boy around 13 or 14 come walking up. I'm thinking it's just a kid who's getting a fresh drink. Boy, I was wrong. This kid said, Mom, did you want some more? The DG looked at the receipt and asked how many cups she got. She said only one. My park has 2 colored cups for refill cups. For a single day, you get a green, and for a full year, it's orange. The receipt said 1 single day refill cup, and what does the sun have? A green cup. DG. "Excuse me, kid, did your mom get you that cup?" Karen turns red face and pushes her son out of line and tries to hide in a passing school group. I just look at my mom and said, "See, this is what we call a Karen." Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.